Hey guys, this is Matt with Comax Gaming, and today we have a tutorial on ConVars. So basically, a convar is a console variable. It's a variable that can be changed via the console. For example, the existing convars in all source games, or most source games, are MP friendly fire, I don't know, hostname, SV cheats, whoops. I don't know, those are the ones I use the most, and yeah, but there are a lot of console variables that you can change. So here, as you can see, I already have a plugin, like sort of wrote, but it's not finished yet. I wrote this yesterday because I was making the tutorial yesterday and my computer crashed. So yeah, I lost the recording, so this is the second time I'm recording this. But let's get into the video. Okay, so first of all, you have to include SourceMod like always, and then here, as you can see, I created a new handle. I'm gonna define a handle like a data type that is not an integer or a string. It's not anything like that for now. I'm gonna maybe explain them later on, but for now, keep that in mind. So I create the handle age enabled that is gonna equal invalid handle. Like, I'm gonna initialize this handle with this value. Same here with age sound. I added the age underscore and the name here just for convenience, just to know that this is a handle and not a string or an integer or anything like that. But yeah, you can avoid that one. As you know, you can name your variables whatever you want. Also equals invalid handle. Then right here, I took this handle that I created and I made it equal to create a convar. Create a convar is going to create a console variable. It takes up to like let me do the create convar here. Whoa, it goes out of the screen. Yeah. But you can read the stuff here. These are the parameters that it takes. It takes a name, which is gonna be the name of the actual convar, the default value, which is the value that it's gonna start with, which is 1. A description of it. Here's the description. It says enable sounds when client joins. That's what this is gonna do. It's gonna toggle between play and not play. And then you have the flags. Here we have fcvar notify and fcvar don't record. To secure each flags, you gotta use this one right here, like this kind of OR indicator, but not 2 but 1. So yeah, you get a lot of flags. You can check them out in the SourceMod website, but we're gonna use this one today. Now hasmin is a boolean. You're telling it if it has any minimum value, and if it has, then you're gonna set it here in the min. Same goes with the hasmax and max. Hasmax, true or false, max, an integer. But since we're not going to use that here, we're just going to avoid that. You can also add it if you want to, but I'm not going to. But yeah. So age enabled, this handle is going to equal this console variable here. Then I created another console variable with the handle age sound, which is going to cover the SM sound name, join sound name. This is gonna store, oh yeah, one thing, this is gonna store an integer, as you can see, 1, and this is gonna store a string. Although both are strings, we're gonna convert them later on. I'll show you in a second. Be patient. Okay, now this one is gonna set the name of the sound to play when the client joins. Same flags for this one and that one. So yeah, this is gonna store the actual handle of the console variable. And auto execute config means, like, you know how SourceMod saves all the plugin configuration in one file? Okay, so this is gonna basically just automatic execute that file when the plugin starts. let me show you the parameters this takes. Whoa, exec config file. Has a boolean called autocreate that is set to true by default. So basically it's gonna say, okay, if the file does not exist, then I'm going to create one with the default console variables, which is this one and this one, with the default values 1 and none. So make sure to change that if you create this. Now then we're gonna set the string, the name of the config file, including the CFG extension. So you can see plugin.filename.cfg, whatever, and then the folder, and we're gonna leave that blank since we're gonna use cfg /sourcemod /. So yeah, here I forgot to add the name of the file, which is going to be join sounds config. Oops, config. Yeah, there we go. .cfg. That's all for the unplugin start. Now for the unclient put in server, because this plugin is basically gonna play a sound if this is enabled. Like when the client joins, it's gonna play a sound. So unclient put in server, which means when the client spawns, I covered this in the tutorial number 1, I believe, or number 2. You can go check that out if you want to. But in here, I'm gonna create a new variable called isEnabled, and this variable type is integer. Like this is an integer. Okay, now I'm gonna make this variable equal getConvarInt. What this means is, you know how I said before that this is gonna store an integer and this one is gonna store a string? Well, basically I want to get the integer value of this console variable. The integer value of this console variable. If I were to do here getConvarInt of this console variable, it's gonna throw some random stuff, because none is obviously not an integer, but 1 is an integer, so it's gonna return 1 here. If we were to type this hero here, it's gonna isEnabled is gonna equal 0. Of course you can change the console variable within the console later on, but yeah, basically getConvarInt. You have a lot of getConvar here. I'm gonna show getConvar bool. You get the bounds, the flags, the float, the integer, the name, the string, and nothing else. But yeah, for each thing you're storing, you wanna get the convar value of that type of variable you are saving. So since this is an integer, I created a new variable integer type and made it equal the value of this console variable. So here I'm saying if the value of this console variable equals 1, then I want to execute all this code right here. I hate this thing that does not highlight my parentheses, curly parentheses. So if it's enabled, then we're gonna get a string here. We're gonna create a new string called sname. Now sname is gonna stand for sound name. Now here we're saying getConvar string, get console variable string. The string value of this console variable, hsound, which is sm join sound name. At the moment it's set to none, since I'm not including any sounds with it, but you're gonna change that value later on to something else, so it actually plays a sound. So yeah, what I'm saying here is, okay, hsound, this requires 3 parameters: getConvar string limit, string, there we go, handle :convar, which is the console variable that we're working with. In this case it's sm join underscore sm underscore join sound name, and that handle is h underscore sound. then string, where it's gonna save the value of that console variable. So the value of this convar is gonna be stored in sname, and then the maximum length of this string array or character array, which is a string. So we're gonna use size of sname. This is gonna return 99 since we're using 99 here, but if we were to type 150, size of this is gonna return 150. Basically, it's gonna return the number that you put in these square brackets. So yeah, basically we're getting that the string value of this console variable. What I'm saying here is, if the string equals sname, which is the value of this console variable, none, or if it equals nothing, then we want to print to server, and this is where I left off. We want to print to server some no sound was selected. Of course, you can make this more complex, like if file exists, the path to the file, and use valve fs. If true, valve file system will be used instead. Yeah, this is you already gotta use that. We're just gonna check this for now. Maybe we're gonna use that in the future, but not now. So yeah, then else, meaning else, what we're gonna do is this. So if the string does not equal none or does not equal nothing, then we want to do a for loop. So for new I equals 1, I until get max clients. Now get max clients, it's going to return a integer value of how many clients the server can handle. Now that number is defined in SourceMod, in one of the SourceMod libraries. So you cannot change that, I believe. I'm not sure though. But yeah, it's gonna return that integer, and this is gonna be, I believe it's like 94 or something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's gonna loop from 1 until this number, and then what we're gonna say is if, oh yeah, by the way, when we type client, like here client, the client is only a number. It's the client index, the number, the unique number that that client has assigned. So each client has a number which is the unique ID that is like only unique for that session. If the player leaves and then rejoins, he's gonna have a different ID. So yeah, what I'm saying here is that is client in game and is client connected I, which means the client index from 1 to maximum. So it's gonna loop through every client in the server because of the for loop, and then it's gonna say, okay, if is he in game and he's connected, we're gonna use this. We're gonna execute this code right here. Now if he's not, then I'm not gonna do anything. So if he's in game, we want to do a client command for this client I. Play is gonna play a sound, and then the s name. Now the s name is the string value of this console variable again. So basically what it's gonna do, it's gonna get the value and then play and that value. %s equals string, and then we're gonna replace that string right here that is not formatted with this value right here. So basically that's all. There's nothing else to do with this plugin. It's finished. So make sure to rename this and